Picked up the new part for the Pro XP today. It's the Super ATV front frame brace. Looks to be solid, probably 1/4 inch thick. It's got all the cutouts for the bottom of the frame, so it fits on there properly. Then it's got 2 fixed points that go around the stock mounting locations for the lower front arm, and then the front one is fixed, and they actually have a removable or bolt-in one for the back of the front. Kind of wish that would have been 2 fixed ones, but that may have a purpose behind it. I'm not going to go into too much detail because Super ATV actually has a video with them installing this, but they have a lift. There's all the hardware, and I just have a jack and some jack stands. I'm going to see how difficult this is and how long it takes to get this knocked out. The Pro XP, the follow-up on the front frame brace. Took it out. I can see a little dirty from the ride. Took it off a few jumps, and it kicked up the rear pretty good. But down under here, there's the actual brace itself. Brace itself, didn't notice any big changes. I'm still getting some clunks in the front end from something. I'm gonna go through and double check all the bolts again. But as far as frame brace goes, not a whole lot to notice. Still handles the same way. For the install, I got 3 of the bolts for the lower control arms in, no problem. Except for one of them, the back one there, I had some issues with for some reason. I ended up using a rubber mallet, got in without too much effort. It did come with new hardware. It's a little bit longer because obviously you have thickness of the brace itself. But so far it seems to be doing the job. It's one of those things, it's hard to tell if it ends up working unless you test it without it and something fails, but seems to be doing the job pretty well, no complaints. But I don't know if other people have the same issue on the Pro XP, but for some reason it's not even when the suspension's being fully used, but just driving around there's some clunks in the suspension. I know the CVTs on these are pretty loud transmissions, but I've checked all the bolts. There's no obvious areas where it looks like it's moving around, but I'll have to go through and make sure everything's torqued to spec. But overall, frame brace, pretty cheap upgrade that should provide some pretty good insurance. It also protects these, the plate actually rolls up to the front here as well, so it protects these mounts. So if you catch this on a rock or something, should definitely help that, because I mean you could replace most all the parts, but you get into framework and that's a totally different story. And even if you get it bent back where it was, it's not going to be as strong as it was originally. So for me, it's a cheap insurance policy that should pay off in the long term, and have to see how it does. But other than that, pretty happy with the product. Super ATV kind of started as a general brand, but they've made some pretty good quality products. Another thing from them I want to get is a forward offset A-arm set. to give me a little more clearance for 32-inch tires. Looking online, they look like they should be a little beefier than these A-arms, so I'll have to give them a try eventually and see how they compare. Got one other quick upgrade for the Pro XP. Picked this up from Salt Industries. Don't focus. New shifter knob. I wasn't sure on these because on their website it just shows for RZR and Ranger. I don't get specific, and I know some of the parts for the Pro XP are not interchangeable with the standard RZR XP models and Turbo S. But this looks like it should work. So you just pop off this top piece. It's just held on there by pressure. Looks like you got one screw, and then that's going to have a set screw there that it goes into. Then get this swapped over real quick. I want to swap this because you can see, put it on back here. It's not the most comfortable and oddly shaped shifter here. The front edge is a little sharp. It's not what I prefer, so we're gonna get the Salt Industries one swapped over and see how it feels. Alright, in case anybody's not familiar with the swapping out these shifters, or shift knobs, if I can get it one-handed. There we go. These just pop off. It's got little 2 indentations that goes around this piece. You can see it. And then the new one, it's gonna have the same type setup. And it's got a little set screw here that you tighten down, that actually locks it down. So this piece just simply slides over like that. So that's simple, and I'll go ahead and tighten down the set screw and see how it feels. Alright, got it all tightened down. Really secure, no movement. That's just the transmission, but super comfortable compared to the stock one. Fits the hand perfectly. Could shift it pistol grip or just on top pretty comfortably. Actually, I had different colored inserts here. This one I got white and black. You could also get it in blue and red as well. And it's all billet. Really comfortable. Because I can get a lot more positive engagement and tell what gear you're in, a lot better than the stock one that was a little more flimsy and not as comfortable. But overall, this thing is pretty awesome, pretty happy with it. There's another view of it. Slides right over where the stock one was. Pretty awesome stuff. Makes the interior look a little different. That's all for this video. Like, subscribe. Got more stuff on the way.